guys, my name is Sergey. I'm a freediving instructor trainer, and on this channel I'm sharing everything what I know about freediving. So if you're a beginner, intermediate freediver, consider to subscribe to this channel because you're gonna find a lot of useful information which is gonna help you to become a safer and better freediver in a really near future. Okay, what I want to talk today is a safety lanyard. I did a review about this safety lanyard in the past, something about like 1 year ago. But now I would love to talk about like more general idea, like why we're using the safety lanyard and when, in my opinion, we should start using it. So safety lanyard looks like this. On one end you have a carabiner, and this carabiner is going to be attached to the line. And another part is like this. You can attach it to your wrist, or if it is a, let's say, free immersion technique, some people prefer to attach it to their ankle. Or if it is a no fins technique, instead of the wrist like part, you can have like a belt, and then it's going to be like in the middle of your body, and in this case both arm stroke and kick for the constant no fins going to be much more easier. So what is the idea why we're using this? If you ever saw the competition, they're always using it because in case if freediver blackout pretty deep and safety diver could not bring this blackout diver from underwater, then it's still possible to like retrieve the whole system, whole weight system, and then if freediver attached to the line, then you're gonna bring freediver to the surface as well. This system is called counterbalance system, and as far as I know, it's not used that often. It's not that often deep blackout happens, luckily, but like in case if it happens, we have a backup system. And why I want to discuss it today, because sometimes I have a freediver in my school, even now during the corona time, when they already finished their level 1, they already finished their level 2, and sometimes they finish already level 3, and they never use this piece of equipment. They never use safety piece of equipment, which I personally don't agree with. I love to introduce this equipment for my students as soon as possible. And in the next few minutes, I'm gonna explain how and why. So when we introduce this equipment for our diver, on the first level, when you do even first open water session, as soon as the freediver start diving a few meters deep, we start using this safety lanyard. I would love if my students, before they start diving deep, was already comfortable with this piece of equipment. I don't like this idea when, let's say, for example, I have a students who came, let's say, for a month, and then we diving shallow, 10, 15, 20 meters, the students don't use it, and then on his deepest dive, let's say 25 meters, then let's say he or she put it on, and then it creates certain discomfort, because if you don't use any piece of equipment often, then when you use it, it's gonna create a little discomfort, right? So this is why it's not good idea to start using this equipment only when you're ready to dive really deep, because my students dive shallow and they dive with this equipment and they get used to it, and by the time when they're ready to dive deeper, even if it is 20-25 meters, they're already super comfortable with the lanyard, they know how to use it, etc, etc. And also there is a second reason, which is really unlikely. Let's say the chances that this situation happens is absolutely close to zero, almost zero, but not entirely zero. So let's imagine the situation. Let's say you are training with your freediving body and you do a warm-up. And let's say you're doing 10 meter dive. Let's say your body diving to 10 meters and he do a hang there. So he dive to 10 meters and do a hang. And he not using the safety lanyard. And then he's pushing his limit a little bit and try to stay there too long. And then on the way up, let's say suddenly have a shallow water blackout, right? So lost their conscious. What you're gonna do in this situation? Of course, you're gonna dive and you bring the diver up. But let's say it is a worst case scenario. You start your dive and let's say your sinuses couldn't equalize. It's absolutely painful. And guys, when your sinuses is not equalizing, it's almost impossible to just use the willpower and just dive. Okay, maybe some people can, but I'm pretty sure a majority could not. If it is especially sinus pain, the pain is so strong that you just couldn't continue the dive. And then more likely what you're gonna do, you're gonna turn and go to the surface. And what happens with the diver? Really bad situation is gonna happen with the diver, because the diver is just gonna start falling down to the bottom. And again, if you're lucky and the bottom is 10 meters as well, if you're training on a shallow dive site, then okay, you're gonna dive maybe later when you equalize your sinus, and then you're gonna reach your freediver body. But what if it is a deep side? And if you're using this safety lanyard, then this situation never gonna happen. Because even if your body on the way up have a shallow water blackout, and you can start your dive and your equalization not working, especially if it is a sinus equalization not working, then you're still gonna be able to pull the line from the surface and bring your diver up. Doesn't matter your diver was 10 meters, 15 or 30 or 40 meters. It's much more efficient, much more easy to bring this diver up if you're using the pulley device. I've done a couple of reviews about the pulley device, you're gonna find it again in the description. However, even without them, it's possible, like old style, when you're just lying on the float and pulling the line from the float. Less convenient, yes, but still possible. So guys, this was my video about safety lanyard, and once again, my opinion that you need to start using it as soon as possible. We in Crystal Freediving like to start using it from the first course, but even if it is not maybe from the first course, but again, like my opinion, you need to use it as soon as possible, because again, it is a safety equipment. And if you want to make a freediving more safer, then we need to use the safety equipment. Okay guys, hopefully this video was useful. If it was useful, don't forget to click the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, this is the time to do it, and I will see you next time.